Welcome to Stories at Night, a quiet place to slow down, curl up under a blanket, and let your imagination wander. Some stories will make you smile, some might give you chills, and others will linger like a dream long after the night ends. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and let the story take you away. This is story 5 of Thanksgiving week. The Wishbone. Thanksgiving Eve, Black Ridge County. The last bus out of the valley groaned as it cut through the fog-swept wilderness. Pines pressed close on both sides of the road, tall enough to blot out the moon. The windows rattled in the frames, and the dim yellow interior lights flickered every few minutes, long enough to make the passengers flinch. Annalise Blake sat halfway down the aisle, forehead against the cold glass, watching the fog coil around the trees like smoke. Her backpack sat at her feet, bursting with textbooks she'd never used and clothes she didn't feel like wearing. She wasn't going home for Thanksgiving. She didn't have a home to go into anymore. Black Ridge County was the closest thing she had left. Across from her, Micaiah Rhodes sat kicking the floor in a relentless rhythm, beating out some silent drumline only he could hear. His dark curls were messy, his jean jacket dusted with snow, his eyes shadowed with weeks of sleeplessness. He caught Annalise staring. "What?" he asked. "Nothing," she said. "Liar," she sighed. "Fine. You look like you haven't slept in ever." He smirked faintly. "I'll sleep when I'm dead." "Don't say creepy things on a bus riding through the middle of nowhere," she muttered. "Why? Afraid the ghosts will hear?" "It's Black Ridge," she said flatly. "Everything hears you here." Micaiah looked out the window, studying the woods. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I know." Behind them, Lone Avery was doing eyeliner in the reflection of the window, swiping a perfect wing despite the bus shaking. Her blonde braids were tied back in an elaborate pattern only she could pull off. She didn't look scared. She should have been. Sloane clacked her makeup closed and leaned forward. "Last chance," she said. "We can still turn around. Pretend we got on the wrong bus. Go anywhere less cursed." Micaiah snorted. "Sloane, we're already 20 minutes from the station. There's no turning around." "I wasn't being literal," she snapped. "I meant we could have not come at all." "You wanted to come," Annalise said. "No," Sloane pointed at her. "You wanted to come, and you dragged us two morons with you." "We're here for the festival," Annalise said. "It'll be fine." "That's what they always say right before the dead start walking or whatever." "We're not in a horror movie," Annalise said. The bus lights flickered and went out. All three of them froze. For exactly one heartbeat, everything was pitch black. Then the lights buzzed back on it. Sloane glared. "I swear to God, Annalise, never say we're not in a horror movie again." Micaiah muttered. "Bad omen." Annalise swallowed. She didn't tell him the truth. She wasn't coming for the festival. She was coming because of her mother. Because 2 weeks ago, the sheriff called with the quietest voice a man could have heard and said, "We found her, or what's left of her." Annalise didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just packed a bag and took the first bus to Black Ridge. She had to see it. Had to understand. Had to know what the hell ripped her mother apart in the woods on Thanksgiving night. Micaiah nudged her backpack with his foot. "You okay?" She lied, like always. "Yeah." The bus hissed to a stop at a lonely roadside platform lit by a single buzzing lamp. Snow fell in heavy sheets. The trees stirred like something exhaled in the darkness. "End of the line," the driver shouted. No one answered. Annalise, Micaiah, and Sloane were the only passengers. The bus doors hissed shut behind them. The engine groaned, and the bus pulled away fast. Too fast. Micaiah blinked. Two could at least pretend we're not doomed. Sloane crossed her arms. Okay, we're here. Now what? Annalise took a steadying breath. Now we walk. The path to the cabin went through skeletal trees dusted with frost. No wildlife, no wind, no sound except crunchy snow beneath their boots. Micaiah held his phone up. No signal, he muttered. There's never signal out here, Annalise said. Cool, love that. Sloane glanced around nervously. What exactly did the sheriff tell you about your mom? Annalise tucked her hands into her coat sleeves. He didn't want to talk on the phone, she said. He just said come in person. And the injuries? Sloane asked softly. Annalise's throat tightened. They were consistent with an animal attack. Micaiah made a face. Oh yeah. Classic small town cover-up code. For we found something insane and we're not equipped to deal with it. Sloane whispered. Do you really want to see it? No, Annalise said. But I have to. They walked in silence until the path dipped into a narrow hollow. And there, at the base of the twisted ancient oak, lay something small, white, split, delicate. Micaiah froze. Is that? Sloane put a hand over her mouth. Annalise stepped forward. A wishbone, but not a normal one. This one was twice as long as it should be, stained with dark, dried blood. Still warm, Micaiah whispered. Why the hell is there a wishbone just lying in the snow? Sloane grabbed Annalise's coat sleeve. Do not touch it! Annalise ignored her. She knelt beside it. Something about it felt familiar. Something about it felt wrong. She reached toward it. Sloane slapped her hand away. Hey! Are you insane? It might be a sign, Annalise said. Micaiah crouched, squinting. It's way too big to be a turkey. Annalise didn't know why, but she couldn't look away from it. A whisper shivered through the wind, except there was no wind. It was close, soft, familiar. Annalise, pick it up. She jerked back. What was that? She whispered. Micaiah blinked. What was what? You didn't hear that? Hear what? Sloane demanded. Annalise looked at them. They heard nothing. Only she did. She stared again at the wishbone. The voice came again. Pick it up. The woods remember. The woods keep their bargains. Annalise felt the blood drain from her face. Sloane grabbed her shoulders. Annalise! Hey! What the hell is happening? You look! Annalise whispered. It sounded like my mom. Micaiah stiffened. No freaking way. The whisper rose again, like breath against her ear. Take it. Break it. Finish what she started. Annalise reached her hand out. Sloane tackled her back. Annalise! She shouted, voice shaking. Stop! You don't pick up random bloody bones in the demon-full woods. The wishbone suddenly twitched. Micaiah stumbled back. Oh, hell no! The bone twitched again and rolled upright in the snow like something invisible lifted it. Annalise's breath stuttered. What is happening? The wishbone's ends bent outward, like fingers stretching. Sloane screamed. Micaiah grabbed Annalise's arm so hard it bruised. Run! They turned. The wishbone screeched. A sound like bone dragged across metal and launched into the air, straight towards them. They sprinted. The forest erupted with whispers. Make your wish. Make your wish. Make your wish. Make your wish! Branches whipped past as they ran, stumbling through snowdrifts, panting, heart pounding, terror ripping at their lungs. The screeching followed them. Something fast, something crawling, something bone scraping across ice. Skitter, skitter, skitter. Micaiah shoved Annalise up a hill. Go! Move! They burst through the tree line. and crashed into the snowy clearing of Annalise's old family cabin. Sloane threw the door open. They dove inside and slammed the door shut. Silence crashed down like a stone. No whispers, no skittering, no movement. Just their ragged breaths filling the small, dark cabin. Micaiah locked the door. Sloane pressed her back against it, shaking. "What?" she gasped. "What was that?" Micaiah pulled his hands through his hair. "I don't know, but I'm burning that bone again if I see it." Annalise didn't answer. She couldn't, because she could still hear the whisper. Close, too close. "It's your turn to make the wish." Annalise pressed her trembling hand against her mouth and whispered, "Mom?" For several long breaths, none of them moved. The cabin around them was small, cluttered, and cold, untouched since Annalise's mother had vanished into the forest. The fireplace was old brick and ash. The table was covered in half-finished crafts, jars of herbs, wax, and dried flowers. A quilt lay half-folded on the sofa. It looked like someone had stepped out only minutes ago. It felt like something still stood inside. Sloane finally spoke, voice barely steady. "Okay, Annalise, you're telling us everything. What did the sheriff really say happened? Because whatever that thing was," she jabbed a shaking finger toward the door, "it wasn't a goddamn turkey bone." Micaiah didn't speak. He stood by the frosted window, staring into the trees, expecting the bone to crawl out of the dark and onto the porch. Annalise swallowed. "My mom, she used to tell me stories about this place," she hesitated. "Stories about the woods, about wishes." Micaiah turned to look at from the window. "Wishes?" "Yeah, she said Blackridge was a place where people used to come to bargain. You made a wish, and the woods listened." Sloane scoffed. "Like a fairy tale?" "More like a warning," Annalise said. Sloane crossed her arms. "Tell it. All of it." Annalise stared at the fireplace, remembering long nights curled beside her mother, listening to her voice blend with the crackling flames. "There was a thing in the woods," Annalise said softly, older than the town, older than people, something tied to bones and hunger and Thanksgiving rites. She took a breath. "They called it the Wishmaker." Micaiah muttered, "Well, that name doesn't sound ominous at all." "Mom said it didn't give wishes," Annalise whispered. "It took them, twisted them." Sloane's face blanched. "And your mother believed this?" "She wasn't superstitious," Annalise said. "She was careful, and she always said never break a wishbone in Blackridge." Micaiah stepped closer. "Why would she say that?" "Because," Annalise whispered, "breaking one makes a pact." Sloane stiffened. "What kind of pact?" Annalise's voice trembled. "A pact where the words give you what you ask and take something in return." Micaiah looked horrified. "So you're saying that thing out there was calling to me?" Annalise said, using her voice. Sloane grabbed her arm. "We need to get the sheriff. Now!" Annalise nodded slowly. "He said to come see him in the morning." Micaiah blinked. No. "The bone just tried to murder us. Let's go now." "We'll die out there in the dark," Annalise said. "You saw how fast it moved?" Micaiah deflated. He knew she was right. Sloane paced. "Okay, fine, but we're not sleeping." "We take shifts," Micaiah said. "To awake at all times." Sloane pointing to Annalise. "And you do not answer voices in the woods." Annalise looked at the floor, ashamed. "I thought it was her," she whispered. Micaiah softened. "We know." Sloane sighed and slumped onto the couch. "Okay, someone needs to start a fire. I think I'm getting frostbite on my ass." Micaiah rummaged through the fireplace, stacking logs. Annalise drifted toward the table. Her mother's old journal lay open, the last page written, her handwriting cramped, messy, rushed. Annalise's heartbeat stumbled. Don't make the wish. Don't break the bone. It's coming for me. It knows my price. It knows my name. And beneath it, a single word. Run. Annalise staggered back. Micaiah and Sloane rushed to her. Micaiah grabbed her shoulders. What? What is it? She pointed at the page. Sloane's face strained of color. Oh, hell no. We're leaving right now. And that's when... thud. They froze. Micaiah whispered. What was that? Another thud, heavier this time, on the cabin roof. Slow, deliberate. Scratching followed. A long, slow drag of something sharp sliding over shingles. Sloane covered her mouth. No, no, no. Micaiah whispered. Annalise, please tell me that's a raccoon. It's not. She breathed. The scratching stopped. Silence. Then tap, tap, tap on the window. Micaiah's breath hitched. Not knocking. Tapping. Slow. Rhythmic. Sloane trembled. I'm not looking. Annalise forced herself to take a step towards the window. Micaiah grabbed her arm. What are you doing? I have to see. No, you don't! Micaiah, if it wanted in, it would have been inside already. Sloane whispered. Great. She's rationalizing murder bones. Annalise crept towards the window. Her breath fogged the glass. Slowly, she wiped it clear with her sleeve. And screamed. Micaiah lunged to her side. Oh, no, no, no. On the other side of the window, a shape crouched in the snow. Long, thin, wrong. Its limbs were pale and jointed like spiders, bending backwards. Its torso was stretched too far. Its head hung like a broken doll's, tilted slightly, face half hidden in snow shadow. And its hand wasn't human. It was made of bones. Long, thin bones woven into fingers, clicking together softly as they tapped the glass. Sloane whispered, Holy fucking shit. The creature slowly lifted its head. Annalise's breath caught its face. No, not a face. A skull. It stretched, warped, sharp, and inside it, two bright yellow lights burned like lanterns. It opened its jaw, too wide, bone cracking, hinges splitting, and in a voice exactly like Annalise's mother. Make a wish, sweetheart. Annalise stumbled back, choking on her breath. No, no, no! The creature pressed its face against the glass. The window pane creaked. Micaiah grabbed a fireplace holder. Poker, Sloane screamed. The creature whispered again. You're the last. You owe the woods. You owe the pact. The glass snapped, a hurling crack splitting down the center. Micaiah whispered, It's going to break through. Annalise couldn't breathe. Sloane backed into her, screaming, Do something! The creature spread its finger bones wider. The window bulged inward, and then a blinding flash of headlights exploded across the room. A truck roared into the clearing, engine howling. The creature screeched, a horrible, shrill, bone-grinding wail, and scattered into the darkness. The window snapped back, empty. Micaiah collapsed to the floor. Sloane sobbed. Annalise stared out as the truck's door slammed. And Sheriff Harland Bone stepped out, rifle in hand. He strode up to the porch, face as pale as moonlight. Get inside, he barked, voice shaking. Now! Annalise opened the door and shoved it closed behind him, locking it twice. Micaiah wheezed. Sheriff, what the hell was that? Bone glared at Annalise, eyes full of rage, grief, fear. You shouldn't have come back here, he growled. Not you. Not the last Blake girl. Annalise swallowed. What do you mean? Bone hesitated, then whispered, You just called it. Her stomach dropped. What? Bone stepped closer. That thing? Out there? He pointed towards the forest. Comes for this family every few years. Every time one of you gets desperate enough to make a wish. My mother didn't make a wish, Annalise whispered. Bone stared her dead in the eyes. It wasn't your mother's wish, he leaned in. It was yours. Cold flooded her veins. No, she whispered. I didn't. Bone slammed his hand on the table. Yes, you did. Years ago, the night your father died, you were a little kid. You broke the wishbone. You wished for him to come back. Annalise staggered as memory slammed into her chest. A wishbone, her tiny hands, her mother crying, her father's body brought home in a bag, and her whispering, Please bring Daddy back. Bone nodded, voice breaking. The woods heard you. Sloan whispered, Annalise? Oh God. Bone's voice hardened. And now the pack wants its payment. Annalise shook her head, tears burning her eyes. What does it want? Sheriff's voice twisted with dread. It wants you. No one spoke for long seconds. The cabin crackled as Bone tossed another log into the fireplace. But even the fireplace seemed too small to warm the air. Annalise felt Micaiah's hand slide onto her shoulder. Annalise, you didn't know. You were just a kid. Bone's jaw tightened. Doesn't matter. The wish was made, and the woods don't forget. Sloan paced like a caged animal. This is insane! We're talking about a giant bone creature who impersonates dead moms and breaks into cabins! Bone didn't laugh. He just stared at the fire with eyes that looked decades older. You want to know what that thing is? Bone said quietly. You want to know why it hunts your family, Annalise? She nodded, slowly. Bone turned to her, face hollow. It's because your family created it. The woods dropped like stones, Micaiah whispered. No way! Sloan crossed her arms. I swear to God, if you say something about Puritan settlers, I'm punching you in the face. Oh, it's older than the Puritans, Bone said. Older than this town. Older than the woods. The Blakes were the first people to settle Blackridge, but they weren't alone. He leaned closer. They had a guide, a protector, something that lived beneath the woods. The wind howled outside. Micaiah flinched. Bone continued. The first Blake settlers made a pact. A simple one. Every few years, one Blake child breaks a wishbone and makes a wish. In return, the creature keeps the land safe, crops, weather, hunting, all perfect. But the Blakes are almost all gone. The townspeople have continued the pact. He rubbed his tired face. But the creature doesn't give wishes. It takes them. Sloan shook her head. That makes zero sense. Bone's voice dipped lower. When a person makes a wish, something comes back wrong. Annalise's chest squeezed painfully. My father. Bone nodded. Your mother buried your real father the night you wished for him. What came back from the woods, his voice cracked, wasn't him. The room froze. Micaiah swallowed hard. What do you mean, came back? Bone stared at the door, like he could see the past creeping through the trees. He walked home the next morning. Same clothes, same face, but he didn't talk, didn't breathe right, didn't move right. People whispered, he shuddered. And 2 weeks later, your father vanished into the woods again. We never found a body. Annalise shook violently. No. My dad died in a car crash. Mom, she told me. Bone's face softened painfully. She lied to protect you. She always did. Sloane's wrapped her arms around herself. So this thing, this wishmaker, It marks their family forever? Forever, Bone whispered. When Annalise made the wish as a child, she's tied herself to it. You don't break a pact like that. Not without blood. Mackay stopped between Bone and Annalise, voice sharp. So what now? It just wants to... what? Kill her? Bone shook his head. Killing her would be mercy. It wants her alive. Annalise's knees shook. For what? Bone swallowed. To replace it. Silence then. Sloane shouted, What does that even mean? Bone didn't answer immediately. Instead, he turned towards the window. Because the Wishmaker can't leave its wood, it needs a successor, a vessel, and it only ever takes Blake's as its successor. Annalise whispered, No. It's why it used your mother's voice, Bone said, to calm you, to call you, to lead you back here. He looked at her with aching pity. The Wishmaker wants to wear your skin, Micaiah whispered. We're leaving. Pack your shit. We're out. We can't, Sloane snapped. It's out there waiting. It'll chase us. Bone nodded. And it won't stop. So we kill it, Micaiah said. Bone looked at him like he suggested punching up a hole. You don't kill the woods, Bone said softly. You survive them. The wind slammed against the cabin, hard. Bone stiffened. That's not wind. They all turned towards the door. The entire cabin rattled. Thud, thud, thud. Something massive hit the side wall. Sloane screamed, It returned! Micaiah grabbed the fireplace poker. Bone lifted his rifle with shaking hands. Annalise stared in horror as the shadows under the door stretched, moving like ink pulled by a magnet. Micaiah whispered, It's under the porch. Bone cursed. Back up. Now. They all shuffled away. The air grew colder. Breath turned fast. Then... Scratch. Bone fingers dragged across the wood from outside. Slow. Deliberate. Testing. Hunting. Another blow hit the cabin. Then another. The table jumped. The windows bowed inward. Dirt sifted from the rafters. Sheriff? Annalise whispered. Bone swallowed. It's probing. It's testing the structure to see if it can force an entry point. Another hit. The walls shook violently. More than before. Micaiah's eyes widened. It's getting stronger. No, Bone said grimly. It's getting impatient. Annalise felt something icy slip under her skin, like a cold nail tracing her spine. A whisper crawled through the cabin, from everywhere and nowhere. Come outside, sweetheart. Her mother's voice again. You made a wish. It's time to finish it. Sloane sobbed. Don't listen, don't listen. Annalise clamped her hands over her ears, but the voice was inside. I'm waiting for you, baby. Bone grabbed her shoulders roughly. Hey, stay with me. It can't come inside unless you open something. Don't let it trick you. But Annalise was shaking uncontrollably. What if she's alive? She whispered. Sloane screamed. Annalise! No! She's dead! Dead! The whisper shifted. Help me. Her mother's exact tone when she was scared. Annalise gasped, stumbling towards the door, tears streaming. Micaiah grabbed her waist. No! No! Don't! Bone cocked the rifle. It's baiting her. It wants her out. Then, something slammed against the roof. Not scraping, not tapping, landing. The beam above their heads cracked. Sloane shrieked and ducked under the table. Micaiah dragged Annalise back toward the fireplace. Bone aimed upward. Bone fingers punched through the ceiling. Wood splintered, then the entire roof imploded. Snow, timber, dust, and debris cascaded into the cabin like a collapsing mine. Bone screamed, "Get down!" Too late. A massive shape plunged through the roof, all twisted limbs and snapping bone, crashing into the floor in a rain of debris. It was inside. The Wishmaker was inside. Micaiah shoved Annalise behind him. Sloane crawled away, sobbing hysterically. Bone fired. The rifle round hit the creature's rib cage and ricocheted off. The Wishmaker rose. Tall, thin, horrifically jointed. It unfolded its limbs like a praying mantis made entirely of bone and shadows towering over them. Its skull twisted toward Annalise. Its jaw cracked wider and wider until bone snapped apart, and in her mother's voice, "Come here, baby." Annalise froze. Micaiah lunged with a fireplace poker. The Wishmaker moved faster. Its arm lashed out, a blur, and slammed Micaiah across the room. His body hit the wall so hard the logs shook. He didn't get up. Sloane screamed his name. Boone, take shot, aim again. The Wishmaker backhanded him with a bone limb the width of a chair leg. Bone flew into the kitchen shelves, crashing through bottles and glass, blood exploding across the wood floor. "She doesn't belong to you," the creature hissed. It turned fully toward Annalise. She scrambled backward, breath shattering, heart clawing at her ribs. The creature loomed over her, bone fingers stretching, joints popping, shadowed ribs opening like a cage. It whispered, "You owe us." Then it lunged. Annalise screamed. The bone hand closed around her throat and lifted her off the ground. Her boots kicked uselessly. Her vision blurred. Cold seeped into her bones. It was suffocating her, stilling her breath, stilling her voice, stilling her name. Sloane rushed forward with a kitchen knife. The Wishmaker flung her across the room like a rag doll. Sloane hit the wall, slid down, and didn't move. "No, no, no!" Annalise gasped, choking. The Wishmaker tightened his grip. Her vision dimmed around the edge. The Wishmaker's grip crushed tighter, bones grinding, the world shrinking to a pinprick of white. Bone dragged himself forward, slipping in his own blood. "Let her go!" The creature didn't even look at him. Its skull tilted towards Annalise, sockets yawning wider. "Your wish," it whispered, "was to never be alone." Its ribs unfolded, wider, wider, until she saw a black cavity inside, swirling with something that wasn't darkness, but movement. Hands, faces, mouths, all trapped where its heart should be. All Blake faces, all screaming silently. Annalise's vision shattered, her body convulsed. The Wishmaker jerked her closer, pulling her to its chest. No, inside its chest, the ribs closing around her like a coffin made of bone. "Annalise!" Boone screamed, trying to stand. The Wishmaker flicked a limb, and Bone hit the floor so hard, his skull split open. Silence swallowed his body. Annalise's scream dissolved as the creature's chest sealed shut around her. Her last breath was cold. Her last thought was her mother's voice. "Don't come home." Then, a pulse, a deep wet crack echoed through the cabin. The Wishmaker stopped moving. Its head snapped back like a puppet whose strings had been cut. Its limbs shook, twitched, seized. Then slowly, its skin, shadow, bone, whatever it was, peeled open down the center. A shape stepped out, small at first, then taller, then perfect. Same height, same hair, same clothes, same face. Annalise. But wrong. Her eyes were empty, glassy, like something wearing her face as a mask. She flexed her fingers, tilted her head with eerie calm. Behind her, the wishmaker's husk clasped inward like a dying spider crumbling into dust. The new Annalise breathed once, a smooth, perfect imitation. She turned towards Micaiah's unconscious body, then towards Sloane's crumped against the wall. She smiled, slow and sharp. Her voice came out flawless. "Let's go home." Then she walked out of the ruined cabin, calm, steady, unhurried, and the wind followed behind her, like obedient wolves returning to their master. The Wishmaster had its successor, and Annalise was never seen again. Thank you for spending part of your evening with Stories at Night. I hope tonight's tale took you somewhere new. Maybe it made you smile, stirred a memory, or sent a pleasant chill down your spine. These stories remind us that even when the world grows quiet, imagination stays wide awake, whispering, laughing, and dreaming right alongside us. New stories arrive here 2 times a week, each one a little different, each one its own escape. So when you're ready to unwind again, come back, get cozy, and let the next story take you away. Until then, rest well, dream deeply, and keep listening to Stories at Night.